Welcome to the HR Certification Podcast, a podcast for HR leaders working towards their human resources certification with HRCI and SHRM. Join host Jessica Miller-Merrill, founder of Workology.com, an HR certification prep program, Ace the HR Exam, as she shares study tips, exam insights, and topical review for HR exams including the APHR, PHR, SPHR, SHRM CP, and SHRM SCP. Now here's Jessica with this episode of the HR Certification Podcast.
Hey there, and welcome to the HR Certification Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Miller-Merrill, and I am so excited to be here chatting with you. My mission, purpose, and passion is elevating the HR industry. And in the HR Certification Podcast, I help HR leaders in their personal and professional development, solely focused on HR certification for SHRM and HRCI. Now, this podcast is powered by Workology's HR certification prep courses and resources. If you want to learn more about those, head on over to www.hrcertificationpodcast.com. Now, before I dive into today's podcast episode, I do want to hear from you. Give me a follow over on Instagram or TikTok at Workology blog, where I'm happy to answer your HR certification questions. That's at Workology blog, TikTok, and Instagram. And maybe I'll feature your question in a new HR certification podcast episode. In every single episode here, I cover information and resources to help you with your HR certification exams. This podcast is short and to the point so that you can get in your review and move on. We divide the podcast into different segments. In each episode, we're going to address a common question or HR topical area to assist you with your review. We'll review an HR glossary term, and then I'll walk you through an HR certification exam question. Again, this podcast is for SHRM and HRCI exams. So we cover materials for the APHR, the PHR, the SPHR, the SHRM CP, and the SHRM SCP. In the transcription notes of every single podcast, I will also share recommended resources and information to assist you in your review. You can head on over to hrcertificationpodcast.com to get all the scoop on this episode. In this episode, we are talking about changes to SHRM and HRCI exams. It's 2024 and there have been major changes to HRCI and some updates to SHRM as well. So I'm going to walk you through a handful of these changes, but before I do, I want to direct you to a resource where I go into more in depth about what's new for 2024 changes, and that's my Insider Secrets webinar. I offer this presentation live a couple times a day. I walk you through everything you need to know. You can sign up at hrcertificationexam.com. That's www.hrcertificationexam.com. Now, as I mentioned, there are major changes happening when it comes to the BASC, the Body of Applied Skills and Knowledge, but more importantly, HRCI's BOK, Body of Knowledge for 2024. Because so many of us are taking the exam more than ever, I'm going to offer a quick rundown here. So I'm just going to mention that you can head over for more information about our ACE the HR exam course, which is going to get you up to speed. We have a SHRM and HRCI offering. This is updated for 2024. We have a monthly program or an annual package that includes over 150 lessons, 42 hours of video and audio, as well as 300 plus pages of study sheets specific to SHRM and HRCI, as well as over 1,500 test questions. Head on over to www.acethehrexam.com. We're moving on to our first segment, and I was not kidding when I said that HRCI has made major changes to their body of knowledge, or BOK. And this is for the first time since 2018. I want to run through the changes for the APHR, the PHR, and the SPHR specifically. So let's talk about the APHR. These categories that you're going to see on the exam have been streamlined. The main content categories for the exam are talent acquisition, learning and development, comp and benefits, employee relations, and compliance and risk management. Prior to the APHR, the BOK was focused on a major topic, which was HR operations. This topic has been absorbed into other areas of the exam. Compliance now encompasses safety, employment law, and other operation areas common for coordinators and specialist roles. Moving on to the PHR and the SPHR, there's a new content category called HR Information Management. That accounts for 10% of the total exam content for both tests. Expect topics on risk management, data protection, big data, and safety. Personally, I'm glad to see this area added to the exam because so many of us are having conversations about data security, big data, artificial intelligence, and things like phishing and hacking. There's also a new category of talent planning and acquisition, which you're going to see on the PHR. This is where recruitment, retention, and engagement live. Finally, another category called business management. This is focused on general business topics. Overall, I'm excited to see these changes. As for the SPHR, things have been rebranded, including leadership and strategy, workforce planning and talent acquisition, talent management. That is now its own category for you to review. And then of course, HR information management, which for the SPHR includes safety and security. On the SHRM side of things, major changes around rescheduling. This information comes directly from the Prometric site, which oversees the testing and scheduling for SHRM, including their remote and in-person testing options. If you wish to reschedule your exam, you may do so, but you have to reschedule your exam appointment within the same testing window. There are fees attached. There's a cancellation fee of $35 if your exam is more than 30 days prior to the exam appointment, or $53 if your exam is less than 30 days to the appointment. If you need a refund, you can go through SHRM certification. Prometric has all the resources on their site, but if you have scheduled an exam appointment, you must cancel your appointment with Prometric first. There's these fees, $35 or $53. These go to Prometric. So you need to head on over to your appointment cancellation section for policy information. Rescheduling is going to cost you, and rescheduling appointments less than 5 days to your original appointment are not permitted. So pick your exam date and stick with it. Otherwise, exam fees are going to be forfeited. This is a new change. So you will have to reapply and pay the full fee to go into the future exam window. I have gotten a lot of questions about this and review materials. So again, our ACE the HR exam course is updated for the new 2024 changes, including these study sheets. They're amazing. HRCI and SHRM options, they're downloadables. They have key terms and information. And we've updated our test questions, especially on the HRCI side, that HR information management. We have 50 test questions just devoted to this new category. I'm also excited to share that our ACE the HR exam course now has over 1,500 test questions. We have SHRM and HRCI options. I know that was a rapid review, so thank you for hanging with me. It is time to take a reset while we move into our next segment here at the HR Certification Podcast, which is powered by Workology. Again, I'm your host, Jessica Miller-Merrill. I'm so excited to be here with you. Workology offers HR certification prep courses and resources, and you can learn more about those by visiting our course and prep resources at www.hrcertificationpodcast.com. You can listen and binge on the other episodes. This is season 2 that you're listening to now. We offer a variety of prep resources, including physical products like flashcards and study guides, along with courses for all different types of learners. Most importantly, these are accessible for wherever and whenever you are. Our digital courses are on demand and also accessible on our very own Workology app, which is available for Android and iOS. Android and Apple, I got you. If you want to have a question answered, send me a note. Send me a note over on TikTok or Instagram at Workology blog. I'm happy to answer questions there, connect with you, and talk more about HR certification prep. That's at Workology blog, TikTok, and Instagram. As promised, we're now moving to a special segment of the HR Certification Podcast. We're going to review a glossary term for each episode. These are all terms and definitions that cover the basic knowledge base for SHRM and HRCI exams. This one's a little lengthy, so buckle up. When it comes to becoming familiar with HR terms that are part of the SHRM or HRCI knowledge base, it is important for you to review them. And I want you to do that repeatedly using different learning styles. Maybe you're watching a video or listening to this as an audio podcast. This is one of the reasons, because we use all these different styles in our ACE the HR exam course, that we have such a high pass rate when you've been with us for 90 days. We have audio lessons, short video. I encourage note-taking, flashcards. We have those digital or physical flashcards, and then the longer form content. I want you to focus on a single topic or subject matter in your review over and over and over again, different ways to help you master that area so that you can move on to another area that has maybe a larger set of test questions. If something has a small set, let's say 10%, you should be focusing on that as your number one priority. This is the most important part of structuring your review. So let's head into that HR glossary term for this episode. Today, we're focusing on an HRCI term. It's also on SHRM, but this is part of that new HR information management category. This is also part of the SHRM basket as well. So let's get started with our quick glossary review. I'm going to review this term. Like I said, it's a little bit lengthy. So we'll talk about data hygiene. In human resources, data hygiene refers to practices and processes used to maintain accurate, consistent, and reliable data. Now, this is related to employees, applicants, and other HR-related information. And this includes ensuring that data is up to date, complete, and free from errors or inconsistencies. Data hygiene involves various activities such as regular data validation, data cleansing, and updating that data to prevent data degradation over time. All these terms you need to know. This also involves compliance with the data privacy regulations, security measures to protect sensitive employee information. Employee data hygiene needs to be effective and is essential to HR departments for making informed decisions, providing accurate reporting, and ensuring the integrity and confidentiality of our employee data. So that is data hygiene. Let me go through that one more time. Data hygiene in human resources refers to the practices and processes used to maintain accurate, consistent, and reliable data related to employees, applicants, and other HR-related information. Now, this includes ensuring the data is complete, up to date, and free from errors or inconsistencies. Data hygiene involves various activities such as regular data validation, data cleansing, and updating to prevent data degradation over time. This involves compliance with data privacy regulations and security measures designed to protect sensitive employee information. Effective data hygiene practices are essential for HR departments to make informed decisions, provide accurate reporting, and to ensure the integrity and confidentiality of that employee data. HRCI is really upping their game and expanding this category and the content focused on big data, HR technology, and information security. So I have new study guides and lessons in our course that focus on HR information management if you're taking the HRCI exams. So we have also those special test questions. Also, this information is also part of SHRM, but it's tucked under a different area. This content is primarily in the risk management and business categories. We are now moving to a special segment of the HR Certification Podcast where we're going to review a test question, and we do this for every single episode. These are all test questions that cover the knowledge base for SHRM and HRCI. So whether you're taking a SHRM exam or HRCI exam, this is for you. Before I share my question for today, I do want to give you a quick review of our HR test question framework. More information about our HR test question framework is available on our Workology YouTube channel, and I'm going to link to the video in the transcript of this specific podcast episode. Just to give you an overview, there are 5 steps to the HR test question framework. Step 1 is to read each question slowly and concisely. Now, step 2 is to identify the HR competency that the question is being asked about. Step 3 is to eliminate the wrong answers. Step 4 is WWSD or WWHD, meaning what would SHRM do or what would HRCI do if they were answering this test question. think about the test question from the point of view of a person at SHRM or HRCI who's writing it. I like to give them a name and a face. Step 5 of our framework is to go with your gut. Above all, just pick an answer. Okay, let's go ahead and move to that HR practice test question. Are you ready? I'm ready. What is a critical step in conducting a data risk assessment in human resources? Is it A, limiting employee access to data to prevent unauthorized use? B, ignoring potential risks to maintain workflow efficiency? C, conducting regular audits to identify data vulnerabilities? Or D, storing all data on local servers for enhanced security? What do you think? What is the right answer? Drum roll, please. C. The correct answer is C. C is conducting regular audits. This is a crucial step in identifying potential data vulnerabilities and assessing risks in HR. Regular audits are going to help our HR professionals to evaluate data storage, data transmission, access, protocols, and ensuring compliance with data protection regulations and minimizing that risk of data breaches. Everybody's nightmare. Option A is incorrect because limiting employee access alone does not address all potential data risks and may hinder collaboration if we limit that information. Option B is incorrect because we're ignoring potential risks that can lead to data breaches and legal liabilities. D is wrong because storing all data on a local server may not provide adequate security against external threats. And so therefore C is the recommended step for conducting a data risk assessment in human resources. Now, if you got this one wrong, do not worry. Just make a note of the term and the concept and the information. I have a little cheat sheet or a notebook that I keep with me, and then I would review this information the next time you have your scheduled daily review. I do have more test questions you can access for free. We have a 25 free test question bank at www.hrtestquestion.com. Head on over there, grab it at hrtestquestion.com. I hope that you enjoyed the test question segment. HR certification is such an important step in your career, whether you are looking to increase your HR knowledge base, gain credibility, maybe at the office, or increase your income potential, or maybe just prove to yourself that you deserve to be here. You do. Together, let's elevate the HR profession. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of the HR Certification Podcast, all about 2024 changes. My name is Jessica Miller-Merrill, and I help HR leaders ace their HR certification exams. I want to do the same for you. Workology offers a host of courses and resources to help you ace your HR certification exam. Head on over to www.hrcertificationpodcast.com, where you can learn more about how we help HR certification prep for the APHR, the PHR, the SPHR, the SHRM CP, and the SHRM SCP exams. If you do have suggestions, and I've gotten a few, for the podcast in terms of the topic or maybe an area of review for an upcoming episode, we're in season 2 right now, just send me a note. Head on over to Instagram or TikTok and give me a follow and a message at Workology blog. Let me know a suggestion, idea, or if you just have a question for maybe a next episode. I'll see you next time on the HR Certification Podcast. Have a great day.